it's me again, GG's Weekend Watch, and of course I'm joined by Andrew Mount and Daryl Carter. And unfortunately, again, this weekend's quality is probably less than we'd like, thanks to Storm Deirdre or Beatrice or whoever it is this time around. But no fear, we've got Lingfield there saving us. We've got Wolverhampton as well. And just quickly to say, Daryl, when I was at Wolverhampton on Wednesday, you had a super double on the all-weather, and you try and make out to us like you don't like the all-weather racing.
Well, when needs must, I can scrape by, but when I'm pitched to ask to do certain races, it's probably not going to be my best week, put it that way. But I'll do my best for you. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I think you did really well. I actually quite like Blue Cable as well in the last at Wolverhampton, because that was one of the ones you picked, wasn't it? So yeah. We agreed on something. As I said, we start from Lingfield, and we do start with their feature race. It's not bad fare there. A Class 3. It's a 2 o'clock at Lingfield. Over 6 furlongs. Obviously, we've not got many horses to choose from, Andrew, but that's going to be the starting point, and you can kick us off with a winner.
Yeah, it's a good race, this, and we've got 3 last time out winners. Water of Leith on a hat-trick, who heads the early market with William Hill at 6-4. That one was backed early doors. Secret Handshake, who's been clocking some really good times at Southwell, is also on a hat-trick. And Charlie Fellows arrives here on a 4-timer. Since he's been fitted with cheek pieces, he's 3 from 3. So, but I'm going to take a chance with the outsider of 4, Twilight Heir, who was 6-1 in Hill's early market. Now, the angle here is that the other 3 have been running all winter, taking each other on and going up in the handicap as a result, whereas Twilight Heir has been off the track since running on turf in October. Has had the winter to strengthen and grow. And this is a good angle with 3-year-olds on the all-weather at this time of year, February, March and April. If you back all the 3-year-olds returning from a break, they've probably improved as much as the others in the race have. But because they haven't been racing, they've not gone up in the handicap, so they could be well in as a result. And Twilight Heir clocked a really fast time when finishing 3rd on turf when we last saw him. He's been gelded since. And interestingly, his sire, Twilight's son, has done really well with his 3-year-olds. Now, they tend to improve with age, and had you backed all Twilight's sons this year, you would have made a profit. And those who run over 6 furlongs, the trip of this race, have won 5 of their 12 starts. For a profit of £7.90 to a £1 level stake. So in what is a very competitive and open race, I thought we might as well just go with the outsider of 4 here, Twilight Sun, in the hope that he's strengthened up and improved over the winter. And to be honest, even if he hasn't that much, he only really needs to repeat the speed figure he clocked last time out on turf when finishing 3rd to have a good chance here. So, yeah, he'll do for me.
Yeah, and you see the angle a little bit as well. Obviously, massive weight pull, and Michael Bells don't really tend to rush theirs too much either, do they?
No, that's certainly true. And looking at those 3-year-old early season all-weather horses, Michael Bell's shown a profit with them at this track as well. So yeah, it could be an interesting angle. So 6-1 at the moment. We might get a bit bigger on Saturday.
Okay, so first race of the day then is that 2 o'clock at Lingfield, the feature race. Outside of the field for Andrew. Daryl?
You would not believe it, but it is the same as mine. And that is the God's honest truth. I'm not copying him here.
Show me you're working.
Show me you're working, please.
It's like on Countdown when they get the numbers, the game the same.
I'll be Rachel Riley. You have to show me you're working out afterwards.
I thought Water of Leith was the rightful favourite, but I thought that Twilight Heir might just go a little bit under the radar. And I was looking at some of these handicap marks, like marks in the 90s for winning novice auction races. And I just thought, if you chuck these 3 off 92, 88 and 91 in a big summer field handicap, they'd have absolutely no chance. So I just looked, that was what pulled me to Twilight Heir. Then I realised he's got an £8 swing with a Secret Handshake for a half-length defeat at Bath. He's got reason to improve. He's been gelded. I know he's been off for 125 days, but he's bred to be better with the switch to the all-weather. And I just thought he was going to be the outsider of the field because he's been off for that period of time. And a mark of 80 looks fair enough, and I think he can improve on that. Whereas the others are, the bottom end of 90, I just thought, Christ, how much left have they got to come? Water of Leith's going to have to be a really, really smart horse to be defying this mark of 91, I think, and giving that sort of weight to the Michael Bell horse. So Yeah, it wasn't an overly strong selection, as none of these are going to be today, I would have thought. But Twilight Heir was actually where I come down, so that would be my selection as well.
Yeah, they do all seem quite highly handicapped, don't they? So Twilight Heir, then, that's straightforward for us. All siding with Twilight Heir in that 2 o'clock. Our next contest is the next at Lingfield. So the 2:35 is a class 4 over a mile. Small field here. All the horses, actually, but one, though, have won at Lingfield. So we've got a bit of course form on offer, Daryl.
Yeah, I was hoping he's going to let Andy go first so I could copy his again. But
yeah, that's why I didn't.
It's like being at school, this is. No, Crackling, the fav, I thought was the right fav here. Went very close on the handicap debut at Southwell, beaten ahead in a very, very strongly run race at Southwell with Dath here, who has just been thriving at the moment. So that form looks pretty strong. They got into a right battle from about 3 furlongs out. They were much the best in that race. He's entitled to improve for that. He's just at the 3 starts. Returns to Lingfield, where he was an impressive winner on debut, beating a horse called Gin Palace a couple of years ago. Very easily. That horse is rated 89 now. He's off mark 78 here. He's obviously not been straightforward to train because he hasn't made the track that often. But the booking of Ryan Moore gives you a little bit of confidence. Ryan's got a 28% strike weight for Martin Mead. And I thought he was the unexposed horse who is likely going to be proven better than his mark of 78, whereas a lot of these are exposed in this race. So I just thought he was the right favourite, and I wouldn't want to be taking him on.
Okay, that makes real good sense. What do you think of the favourite, Andrew? Martin Mead is one of those trainers, I think. He doesn't seem to have many horses, but he just always ends up with some good ones, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think you could back his runners blind and make a profit over the years, and he does well with a small number of runners. The problem with Crackling, though, is that he's missed the break in all 3 of his starts now, and he did so at Southwell last time when beaten ahead. I know he won here on his debut again, despite being slowly away. And there really isn't a lot of pace in this race. So they could, if he's slowly away and they crawl, then, he could be vulnerable. And it wouldn't surprise me if he won, but do I want to take sort of 5-4, 6-4, whatever he's going to be on the day? Possibly not. So I was looking for alternatives. Noble Peace was interesting for Simon Pearce. Now, Simon Pearce's last 4 runners have produced 3 winners, 66-1, 9-1, which was Noble Peace, and 11-2. So Noble Peace is coming back in trip from 10 furlongs to a mile, but maybe they'll make use of his stamina, and it's possible that he could get the run of the race. But the one I'm going to side with at a slightly bigger price is Apex King for David Loughnane. He's only had 2 runs for this yard. Now, he's raced freely in both of them, and the blindfold was off late when he was a close-up 4th at Wolverhampton on his stable debut 2 runs back. Last time he was pretty free when 5th over course and distance, not beaten far. He's finished a neck behind Accomplice, who's come out and won again since. Accomplice, of course, takes him on again here. But I just thought that with Luke Morris taking over, maybe he needs the kind of Luke Morris kitchen sink sort of ride here. And on only his 3rd start for the yard, maybe Apex King, who will probably be tracking the likely pace angle Noble Peace, then he might just be in the right place when the pace quickens, which is perhaps something you can't say of Crackling. De Vega's Kid has got some really good speed figures in this race for Tony Carroll, but again, he's going to be a hostage to fortune because he's an habitual hold-up horse, and in a smallish field on a steadily, on what's going to be a steadily run race, I would imagine, I think De Vega's Kid could find things happening a little bit too slowly for him. So although 14-1, I'm kind of tempted looking at his best speed figures over the last year, but generally speaking, De Vega's Kid needs a big field, strong pace. So yeah, I'm Apex King. Noble Peace could go well. It's a tricky one, this one, not one that I was hugely keen to have a bet in. Okay,
so tentatively Apex King, Crackling for Daryl. That's in that 2:35. We stick at Lingfield.
I wouldn't worry about the. Can I just say, sorry, Leonna, I can jump in. I wouldn't worry too much about the slow start for Crackling, Andy. If there's no pace on, would you? It's hardly going to be left behind, I think, in this field. They're not going to go off a blistering gallop.
I still think if you're 3 lengths behind at Lingfield, where they've absolutely crawled, and then they just kick off that home bend, then maybe. And again, Ryan Moore's not exactly been riding here a lot this winter. Perhaps not familiar with the way the track's riding, like someone like Luke Morris is, and. You can keep your 7-4, to be honest, 6-4.
Oh, you could keep your Luke Morris. God.
That's a conversation for a whole nother show.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's obviously a famous saying that opinions are like something, but you can't probably say it on here. So opinions are like noses. Everybody's got one. We'll stick with that saying. But yeah, so we stuck at Lingfield with the next contest. It's the 310. It's not an amazing race, is it? Look, it's a Class 5 handicap. It's over 1.25 miles. But we do have, Andrew, what I thought were, a couple of lesser exposed horses in here that could still improve.
Yeah, and at least we've got a big field here. I mean, again, looking at 10 furlong handicaps at Lingfield this year, there's been a massive bias towards low-drawn runners. So I would be looking at the draw in this race. You've got Convertible for Hugo Palmer, Ryan Moore on board, drawn in store one, likely to be the pace angle, if not one of the pace angles. Stopnsearch was one that might offer a little bit more in the way of value. He was short-headed by Noble Peace here last time out when the 11-4 favourite, because we get to see how Noble Peace runs in the previous race. So I would side with Brett Johnson's runner Stopnsearch, just because Brett Johnson versus Hugo Palmer, they can come into this race with similar form, and we know which one would start the shorter price just because of who trains them, and it's likely to be overbet for that reason. And there's a Richard Rowe horse here who ran really well on his British debut last time out, Aztec Dreams, coming out of stall 3. Now, that was his first run after a wind operation. He was an 80 to 1 shot. He's finished 5th, only beaten a couple of lengths. And I'm not... I would say Daryl's got a thing for an anti-Luke Morris bias at the moment. I feel the same. I feel the same way about Josephine Gordon, who has failed to clock onto track biases so many times this winter, particularly at Lingfield when there's been a dead rail and she's ducked down the inside on a horse called Mason Mount and got that one beat twice. So she's on board again, but at what should be an each way price, Aztec Dreams could give us a run for our money. But at the head of the market, or what I suspect will be the head of the market, I'm with Stopnsearch over Convertible.
Okay, and you're not quite siding with Aztec Dreams because you're not talking to Josephine Gordon.
Exactly.
Okay, Daryl?
I was with Stopnsearch as well, beating a short head last time out. Just needed stronger handling at the finish from Carson, I felt. I don't think he would make that mistake again. Quite exposed this horse, only had the 2 tries over this trip. And if you was to watch those 2 runs back, you'd be thinking, why on earth has this horse been running over shorter? His form figures here at Lingfield in the last year read 2-4, 1-1-1, 4-1. 3 wins from 6. He looks to be on a bit of an upward curve. And like Andy said, had Convertible in behind before. And the time figure of that race was actually faster than Kapla Crusader, who I expect to be at the head of the market after an easy victory last time out. So Stopnsearch was the one I come down on, yes. I did think this Amsbury was a bit interesting for James Eustace. Emptied very, very quickly at Kempton, though. It was almost like he changed his legs, pushed the button, he looked like he was going to quicken up, and he just stopped. So he's been off again since. That was in December. So I'd be a bit worried about backing him after that run. Given his profile, he's probably going to be towards the head of the market, unexposed horse. So might just be worth keeping an eye out for him, see if there's any money coming for him, or if just to see if he might be worth avoiding, to be honest, this time out.
Okay. Stopnsearch for you two, and I actually fancy something in this, and of course it's not that one. I thought that Compass Point would have a chance in this off such little weight, bottom weight. Callum Hutchinson, if we take his claim into account as well, this horse is off a much lower racing weight than what he's won off before. He was a course and distance winner 2 runs ago. I know we're not allowed to talk about yards being quiet, but they are.
Oh, that's exactly what I was about to say.
I know.
After a good spell, Robin Brislin has gone a little bit quiet. Although just looking back, he had Brass Clankers beaten a short head at Chelmsford last week. Plenty of them are finishing 2nd, 3rd and 4th. When his last runner was a 50 to 1/3 of 9. So, maybe it's a bit harsh to describe him as being out of form at the moment.
0 from 18 in the last 2 weeks is
literally... Well, maybe it's just not a thing.
It's literally to the day since this horse last ran didn't run well, but was a winner the time before. And I just thought perhaps with weights and stuff, that's why it didn't run as well last time. So anyway, Compass Point, my each way selection, which I'm sure will be nowhere near as good as the one you two have chosen, but I'm going to stick with it anyway. And the finale at Lingfield, we're going to cover that as well. That's the 3:45. And Daryl, I think this is a difficult race in the sense of I'm not sure we could completely rule out any of these.
Yeah, I totally agree. I actually found that when I was going through it, I was sort of flickering between two or three, and I couldn't really come down and make a decision. I thought Real Estate was interesting. Is an exposed 6-year-old, but was entitled to need that run in a warm Class 4 event last time. This is a drop in grade. That came after a 196-day break. And it just needs a real strong pace to aim at. It does like here at Lingfield, it's got form figures of 5-2, 1-1-5, 6-2-3. But if you were just to look at those over 6 furlongs, like today's races, it reads 5-2, 1-6-2. And those in Class 5 races, they read 1-6-2. So, you know.
Is that your pin number you've just revealed there, Daryl?
You'd be no good to you. There ain't nothing in there after the way my luck's been going lately. I thought that was an interesting horse. I thought Desert Land was very interesting as well. Failed to win on turf, but it's 2 for 10 on the all-weather. Both of those wins came over course and distance. 10 all-weather ones. Only 5 have been over 6 furlongs, so relatively unexposed. Form figures of 5, 1, 1, 8, 3. The 8 came in a first-time headgear, so you can discount that run because he finished 8th of 8th. He just didn't react to the headgear at all. And the 5 was last time out when held up in a really slowly run race. Again, another one that needs a bit of pace to aim at. So I was just a little bit concerned about where the pace was going to come from. I thought Bombastic may go forward, Save the Spirit may go forward, but if Save the Spirit gets a soft lead, I was a little bit worried that he was going to set slow fractions like he did last time out, and that probably wouldn't help those held up at the rear. So look, I'm undecided. If you had to push me, I would say Desert Land at around 9-2, I think, with Wilbur Hills.
Okay. Desert Land for Daryl. Andrew?
I really like this race, and I'm pretty convinced there's going to be a strong pace. You've got Bombastic, who tends to make the running. Also, Save the Spirit. Inevitable Outcome, the 5-2 favourite, either chases the leader in sort of second or third, or makes the running. Lou de Mel can be prominent as well, certainly was last time out. So I thought they were going to set it up for Cappananty Con here for the Mick Atwater yard. Now, when he was with Dean Ivory, I used to think he needed a big field, but it was just a case of needing a strong pace. So, I mean, looking at the running styles of his opponent, I think he's going to get it. Now, he's had 4 goes over course and distance for his current yard after a recent outing when he's been returned to the track within 3 weeks. Those 4 outings, the 4 runs have produced a next second at 20-1, a win, a short head second, and another win. So he's either won or gone close when he's had this recent run at this course and distance for his current yard. Reese Clusterbuck gets on really well with him. Clutterbuck, even not Clusterbuck. That's
that's something else entirely, Andrew.
That's something I was calling him when he made a mess of it a couple of runs ago. But, and I just thought that they're going to go a good pace. Certainly looks that way on paper anyway. And he's just going to come around the outside and do them all. And you look at his last 2 speed figures, race form ratings of 108, miles better than anything else has achieved in their recent starts. I think he's the quickest horse in the race. He's best over this course and distance. He should have the race run to suit despite the small field. He's 4-1 or thereabouts. And I think he's probably the bet of the day at Lingfield.
Okay. You've persuaded me, I think. What about Save the Spirit? I'll just quickly ask you about that one, Andrew, because I actually thought, had this horse not ran poorly last time, I don't think he'd be quite as big in the betting, and that was in a better race over further. I thought other than the fact that there'll be a couple that go forward, I thought Save the Spirit might run all right at an each way price.
Slowly run though, wasn't it?
I mean,
last time.
Yeah, against the Hulk, but he was touched off by the Hulk. Yeah, I thought it was a real slowly run race. I thought he dictated from the front. Sorry, Andrew, go on.
Yeah, just going to say, he just got chinned over course and distance, went up to 7 furlongs at Wolverhampton, didn't see it out. And he's lightly raced. He's only had 4 runs. But I just worry that if he goes from the front again, he will get taken on for the lead and he could set it up for the others.
Okay. That's it at Lingfield, I think, for the scheduled ones anyway. So that 3:45 Cappananty Con for Andrew, and Desert Land just about for you, Daryl, yeah?
Just about.
Okay. Anything else for either of you at Lingfield?
Not for me, Leonna.
Daryl?
God, no, not for me. God, no.
That's Lingfield then, done and dusted. But as we said, there is some quality races there. Obviously, the feature race is not bad. And there's an even better feature race where we go next. So the 7:15 at Wolverhampton. I absolutely love a good quality all-weather sprint race. And I know Daryl does as well. So you can go first.
Yeah, I actually quite like Tony the Barone for this. Now, he's got to prove he can do it away from Chelmsford. He's 4 for 4 in the all weather. They have all come at Chelmsford, but he won last time off the back of a 139-day break. I thought he did remarkably well to win that race. He was messed around a bit at the start, and then he went through a gap that wasn't even there, and he went one going away. Now, the form has not worked out quite as well as you would have hoped, with the second being well beaten next time out. But I think he's definitely a 100 rated horse. He's gone up £2 for that win. Marco Giovanni. How'd you say that? Gianni?
Gianni. Marco Gianni.
There we go. Marco Gianni takes off 3, effectively puts him £1 lower than his last run. He's a strong finisher at the trip. I think this really strong pace is going to suit him. Done and dusted. He's the most progressive horse in the field, and he's receiving plenty of weight. Off a mark of 94, Tone the Barone will win this race.
You sound excited about a race on the all-weather at Wolverhampton on an evening, so I'm happy that we've got that out of you. Andrew?
Yeah, this is an absolute belter. I really like this race. I mean, what's fascinating is that Venturous is an 8-year-old having his 51st career start, but he's running off a career high mark of 103 because he's been in such good form. He's won 4 of his last 5 starts. He looks sure to go well again. I'd have him on the short list. Royal Birth, I wanted to be against for our William Hill radio colleague, Tom Morley. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's actually won here at Wolverhampton on the poly track, which shows how old he is. He's a 10-year-old. Yeah. But on Tapeta, here at Newcastle, he's 0 from 12. Tone the Barone is hard to knock. He's 4 from 4 on the all-weather, all those wins at Chelmsford. I think the small field is the key to him. When he's raced in fields of 9 or fewer runners, turf and all-weather, 7 wins from 11 career starts. And, he's going to have the race run to suit, I would imagine, as well. Lord Ridderford, he unseated last time against Tone the Barone. He was well back that day late on. There was a flood of late money for him. He went off at 100 to 30. And he's finished second to Venturous over course and distance the time before. Now, that day, he got pestered for the lead. The winner, the third and the fourth all came from well off the pace. He's done best of those who were on the front end throughout. Now, if Lord Ridderford got a soft lead here, it's possible he could go well. But the problem is he might not. Nigel Knott has run against Lord Ridderford before and took him on and actually won that day at Chelmsford. Plus, on Wednesday night, the inside rail was dead as a dodo at Wolverhampton, and the front runners who migrated towards the inside had 0 chance. So if that happens to Lord Ridderford, which it certainly could, then maybe it won't go so well for him. The one I'm going to side with is Lihou. A little bit concerned about stall 1 because he starts on the inside, but he's a hold-up horse. Hopefully he can get off the rail. I would imagine Lord Ridderford will end up on the inside, and or Nigel Knott from stall 2 will go on the inner, and then he can get off the inside. Now, he loves going left-handed. He's absolutely useless on straight tracks, Lihou. But when he's gone round a left-handed bend, he's had 8 runs in his career, whether it's the all-weather or whether it's Chester. He just loves going this way round. 4 wins, 2 seconds, a third and a fourth. And although his win with something up his sleeve over course and distance last time came in a Class 4, he has got form over course and distance in Class 2 company, finishing 4th in that Venturous Lord Ridderford race when he met all the trouble going, was a shade unlucky. So, in the hope they go a good clip, in the hope Lord Ridderford and Nigel Knott get into a battle for the lead. Lomu was another pace angle as well. He made the running last time out. Maybe they can set it up for a closer. Probably Tone the Barone, if not Venturous. But at the prices, I'm suspecting Lihou might be the value in the race.
Okay. That's Wolverhampton's feature race as well. It's a good race, that Class 2 over 5 furlongs. That's 7:15. So Tone the Barone for Daryl and Lihou for Andrew. So both against the old boy that is the favourite at the time of filming anyway. And then the 7:45, we got another race, unfortunately, that's a fairly small field. But Andrew, we've got a couple of unexposed 4-year-olds at the top of the betting at the moment.
Yeah, I've not seen any betting for this yet, but I would imagine that Arij is probably going to be near the head of the market. Yeah. What price have you got for that one?
Arij and Dark Pine. Arij I've got at 2s and Dark Pine at about 7 to 2.
My God, you've got to take on Arij at that price. I mean, Arij has had 10 runs. He's won half a race. That was when dead heating with Power of States at Chelmsford. And if James Doyle hadn't been asleep, Power of States would have won by half the track. So for goodness sake, oppose this one. He's an absolute villain. And plus, he's drawn in stall 1. He's the prominent racer. If it's as slow, if the inside rail is as slow as it was on Wednesday night, apologies if this is your nap, Daryl, but if the inside rail is as slow as it was,
it's not mine.
On Wednesday night, Arij is going to end up in the soup on the inner, and he's going to get fetched out again as he normally does. He's been beaten 9.5 times out of 10 in his career. Now, there's 3 interesting ones against him. One is the old boy Pactolus, who the only horse that Tom Morley has ever got emotional about and sentimental about. Now, he's dropping back down to Class 4 level for the first time in about 100 years. He's had 4 runs on the all-weather in trips of beyond a mile in Class 4 company. First, second by a head and first. So, he's still got ability despite his advancing years. He was second, albeit a well-beaten second of 4, went 22-1 at Lingfield last time. Pactolus would have a chance, but the 2 I like really are the 2 Midland Park horses, Citizen Surge and Hauser Black. Now, Hauser Black did too much too soon at Lingfield last time, set it up for the finishers. So in a disputed pace, the winner of the second came from well back. So if he can just track Arij and not get involved in a battle for the early lead, Citizen Surge would have a good chance. And the other one, that's Hauser Black. And Citizen Surge, he was 2 free over the straight mile at Newcastle last time out. That didn't suit. You look at his Wolverhampton form, he's had 5 goes here, second by a nose, first, 5th when he was stuck out wide in stall 10 of 12, when the first 2 were drawn 1 and 2, and first. So it's 3 wins, a narrow second, and a badly drawn 5th from 5 starts. So Citizen Surge, Hauser Black, Pactolus, lay Arij for a place, hasn't got a prayer.
Carol, is that your selection?
No, it's not, but it would have been funny if it was.
Well, I thought it's definitely going to, and now you can tell us the reasons why. Oh, that's good. Well,
this is actually my nap in this race, though, and it's Dark Pine. I cannot believe this is a bigger price than. I cannot believe this is a bigger price than Arij. I haven't seen the betting, but you say 7-2 and Arij 2-1. I can't believe that for the life of me. £6 rise for that beating of Arij last time. It was valued for much, much more than that. The amount of ground he had to make up on Arij, who had the run of the race and still picked him up and put him away. I thought he was comfortably ahead on the line. I know the winning margin was only a net, but I thought he was comfortably ahead. He was the only horse to make up any ground on that leader. And if you go back and look at some of his Irish 2-year-old form for Dermot Weld, this horse, a mark of 84, should really underestimate this horse. The stamina, the testing trip has brought out the stamina side of him. Even as a 2-year-old, he looked like he wanted much further than the 7 furlongs a mile he was running over. He was catching the eye on multiple occasions. He's definitely going to be able to overcome this £6 rise. He's £2 worse off with Arij, but that doesn't matter because he's so far ahead of his mark. I'm sure he is. It'd be the nap of the day, Dark Pine here.
We know our all-weather stuff because that's exactly I've literally written down about exactly what you've said. It was the first one back after like 3 months off as well, wasn't it? So to definitely then come all the way from the back and make up all that ground. So yeah, Dark Pine was my next best after Compass Point, but I feel like I should have done it the other way around now that you're so positive with my selection. So they're the 2 scheduled races, 7:15 and 7:45, and I'm hoping that Andrew might have something else for us there as well.
No, sadly not. I've been through every single other Wolverhampton race, and I was sort of desperate to find something to put up, but I couldn't. But I say, just watch those first couple of races, see how the horses towards the inside are doing, because certainly on Wednesday night when they've deep-harrowed it, the inside was riding a lot slower, and it did help to be sort of sat 2-3 wide. Although perhaps not coming from a million miles off the pace either. So, looking for those sort of prominent midfield horses are just going to be in sort of 2nd, 3rd, 4th place, but off the rail in the early stages. That could be the key to success at Wolverhampton on Saturday night.
I think I already know the answer, Daryl, but anything else for you at Wolverhampton?
No, there's nothing at Wolverhampton, but Warwick did pass an inspection today. They're inspecting again tomorrow. So just on the off chance that Warwick is on, I've got one over there that is definitely worth telling you about. So 350 at Warwick. There's a horse called Ballymilsey. I banged on about this horse last week or the week before on the pod. waiting for him to make his handicap debut. He does so if it goes ahead at Warwick in a 350. He steps up in trip to 3 miles 2. This horse has been screaming out for a step up and trip. It's off a handicap mark of 121. And Nigel Twiston Davies books a claim to take off £3. So effectively off 118. Squeezes into a 0 to 120. He's much, much better than a 121 horse. He's at least a 130 horse. So he should be winning. We'll love any heavy ground and we'll appreciate this step up and trip. Well ahead of his mark, that one. So if he doesn't run, put him in a tracker. But hopefully Warwick can get on and we'll have some jumps action.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? But we'll see. Not looking great. The weather's really not helping matters. Obviously, the fair this weekend isn't super exciting. We just thought as well we'd add in a little. Have we seen anything exciting this week that we can keep an eye out for in the future? Is there anything that you've seen this week, either of you?
You go first, Daryl, while I think about it.
Absolutely not. I've been watching Class 5 and 6s at Southall all week, Leonna.
Oh. Well, I was at Wolverhampton on Wednesday night, and I have to say, did you see the winner that Adam Kirby rode? That he got from Godolphin? It's a horse called Declaring Love. She absolutely bolted up. It was her first time stepping down in trip as well, and I thought it wanted further. And when he come in, I spoke to him about her, and I said, "Oh, a good performance." And he said, "Yeah." And the first thing he said, "Make a fabulous broodmare, be a nice broodmare." This, so I thought, I don't think we're going to see her again, are we? So I think they probably just wanted to get a win out of her. I think they paid like 39,000 guineas for her, and she'd been placed a couple of times. So Declaring Love, I thought was interesting, but I don't think we'll see her again on a track. So not really.
Yeah, she had some really smart back form as well with
from Newmarket.
From Newmarket, so I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, I'll mention one, Leonna. Nick's Not Wonder for Jamie Osborne, who ran against my nap Mucker Magic at Southall the other day. And Nick's Not Wonder's sire Sayuni is now 0 from 23 at Southall. And a lot of those were short prices. And when the betting first opened, it was like 15 to 8 each of 2 Mucker Magic and Nick's Not Wonder. Nick's Not Wonder must have gone off about 5 to 1 on Betfair, and just basically hated the fibre sand like all Sayunis seem to have done at the moment. The side does much better on Polytrack, particularly with his older progeny. So having impressed at Kempton the time before when challenging down the middle of the track when there was a massive rail bias, get Nick's Not Wonder back at Kempton or at Lingfield, and I think he could bounce back and probably be a reasonable price because people will read too much into that 5% defeat.
Yeah, well, I have to say, I did that race for Hills, and I put Nick's Not Wonder up, and obviously it didn't run very well. I obviously missed the Sayuni thing, so I'll try not to.
You didn't get the memo, did you? Yeah.
Clearly not. I've got it now, though, so I shall try and remember it. So naps and next best for the exciting weekend racing, both of you?
I'll go with a nap on Cappananty Con in that last race at Lingfield, the 3:45, I think. And Twilight Heir in that 2 o'clock at Lingfield, just on value grounds, I think. In what is an open race, the outsider of 4 could be the way to go.
Okay, Daryl?
Yeah, Dark Pine in the 7:45. Stone Cold, shouldn't say certainty, but Stone Cold net. And in the 7:15, Tony the Barone, I think, should take all the beating. I think he's got plenty more to come. So 2 at Wolverhampton.
Okay, my nap is, as I said, compass point in the 3:10. Lingfield, outsider, so each way. And next best is also Dark Pine at Wolverhampton. So we agree on that. We said about sending in questions and stuff, and you have been doing. We want you to know we're not ignoring them. A lot of them are about Cheltenham, so we will get round to that at some point. We are posting videos weekly that Daryl and Andrew keep leaving me out of. So you'll see them, but you won't see me. As always, thanks for watching. Regardless of Newbury or Wolves, a winner is a winner, of course, after all, and you can still win money, especially if listening to Daryl and Andrew more than me. Don't forget to check out GG.CO.UK for all of those tips. They're on there daily as well. We've got other videos on there from the guys, race cards, and plenty more. Thanks for watching. Good luck with all of your selections and ours.